Everyone says just go to the gym, just stay consistent. But no one talks about how it actually is trying to stay fit, especially when you're balancing school, work, commuting, responsibilities, relationships, etc. Because some days you're just tired. You just can't. You're just that tired. So the real question is, how do I stay consistent even when I don't feel like it? And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. Trying to stay fit with all these other things in your schedule. And I'm going to explain how I do it from my end. As you all know, for those who have been keeping up with me, I'm currently balancing commuting, school, work, relationships, and just trying to build something long term. And fitness is something I've had to figure out within my schedule. Not perfectly, but realistically. It's not easy to fit it in, but it's doable. Now let's be real. Most days, at least for me, I'm not motivated. I'm not motivated. There's sometimes where I wake up and I just can't, I just don't have it in me. And I'm sure many, if not all of you have experienced something like this when waking up, especially after classes, after work, after such a long commute. It's really tiring. It's not easy. The last thing you want to do is to go to the gym after such a long day already. And that's perfectly normal. That's perfectly fine. Everyone feels like that. I feel like that. Because motivation isn't consistent. You can't constantly have that drive. It's impossible. It comes and goes. It comes and goes in ways you will never imagine, in times you will never imagine. But if you rely on motivation, you won't stay consistent. And that's the hard truth that I had to learn as well. There's been a lot of times where me, myself, I've felt so unmotivated. I felt like, I'd rather go home. I'd rather go chill. I'd rather go lay in my bed. I'd rather go play with my dog. I'd rather go talk to my family. I'd rather do a million other things. But I just have to stay consistent. Consistency, especially in the gym, is key. Because without consistency, you're almost building nothing. Especially when it comes to working out, it's number one key. There's been times where I haven't been consistent, but for the most part, I've tried to stay consistent from my college career. I've been going to the gym for now 2 years. I haven't been eating the best, which is why I guess I'm not seeing too many results, but I do try to eat my best, and I've seen that consistency has been the key to my development in my body, in my mind. It helps so much, consistency, because then you're disciplined. It produces discipline. And that's also just another key that you need in life is discipline. But being tired is such a bad feeling when it comes to these, because you can't be tired for the gym. You're using 100% of your energy in the gym. So don't rely too much on motivation, but consistency. And when it comes to discipline, I've mentioned it before, it's key. You don't go just because you feel like it. You go because you said you would. And that shift is the shift that changes everything, because it's not about emotion anymore. You're not letting however you're feeling take over, but it's about standards. Even if it's for a shorter workout, even if you're tired, showing up still matters. I've had days where I had to be in the gym for less than an hour, and my workouts My workouts usually take 2 hours. There's been times where I had to go for less than an hour because I have so much schoolwork, I have so much other things to do in my list, but I just can't give up the gym. I have to at least make some room, some wiggle time for the gym. For me, it's it's been a non-negotiable since day one. I've set this mindset of the discipline of saying I will go to the gym 4 to 5 times a week, and I will try my hardest in the gym, and I will stay there for, I try to 2 hours, because that's how long it usually takes me. But there's been days, obviously, where I haven't gone. The longest break I've took from not going to the gym is maybe 2 months max. That was only one time because of school and home reasons. And what I saw when coming back was I lost almost all the muscle I've gained. I've gained quite a few pounds, and that I saw how much work I put into my body, how quickly it disappeared. And after I saw that, I said, never again. I will stay disciplined, I will stay motivated, and I will stay consistent with this schedule of mine for the gym, because I don't want that to ever happen again. Having to gain all that muscle back was not easy. It was easier than the first time, but it's still never really easy. So discipline over motivation is key here. In all honesty as well, you don't even need 2 hours like me. You really don't. Something more realistic is probably like an hour workout, a shorter workout. Because like I said, I wouldn't say I push the limit, but I feel like I am in the gym a little more than your average Joe. I feel like I take the gym a little more seriously, I guess I could say. But it is, you do not need 2 hours. I will say that. You do not need it. And for me, it's also about going at consistent times. Because if you're just going, kind of whenever, you won't really stick to a disciplined and fixed schedule. And that can lead to, maybe putting it off, or just, you saying, I don't have the time, or I don't want to. It leads to that. So going at consistent times is really good. For me, lately, I go after school, and that's when I get home. I have to go home first and eat a little bit, because I can never go to the gym on an empty stomach. I eat a little bit, I change, and I go to the gym. And for me, I get to the gym around 6 every time. And that helps me stay disciplined as well, because I'm like, as soon as I see the clock and it says 6 p.m. or it's about to be, I'm like, okay, I gotta start getting ready for the gym. I gotta put my mindset for the gym. And it helps me wire my brain, I guess, to this fixed schedule, and that way it makes it easier for me to work out and go to the workouts. But sometimes, if, let's say, I have an activity to do after class, like a networking event or a recruiting session, anything like that, I will try to fit it in between my classes, because I have such a long gap in between my classes. I have about almost 3 hours of just me being in school. So I usually, if I have stuff after school that's also just a non-negotiable, I will try to fit it into my gap between my classes. And what I will say is that whatever plan you make, especially since you're so busy already, it probably won't be perfect. It almost never is. And that's totally fine. That is totally fine. But I said this before, and I'll emphasize it again. It's all about consistency. That's what actually builds results out of all of this. So stay consistent. The last thing I want to leave you guys with is the habit. Well, not the habit, but actually building the habit. building the habit is not easy in itself either. For me, the way I've been able to stay consistent, if you want to stay consistent yourself, you have to keep it simple. Pick a time that works for you. Look through your schedule, look at everything you need to do for the week, and pick a time. And make sure it's a non-negotiable time. You're like, no matter what it is, at this time I have to go. I have to go to the gym. I have to be at the gym. Another thing is, don't complicate your routine. Don't make it like, oh, let me go in the morning one day, let me go at night, this, that. Don't complicate it. If you can try to fit a time that works for almost every day of the week, then keep it like that. I've figured out a way. I figured out a time that I can pick, that I can go for almost every day of the week, and that's like 6 p.m. I'm out of school. I usually am out of work up at that time. Sometimes I'm not, but that's okay. But I usually have a time where I stick to that. It helps me stay disciplined, helps me stay consistent. And I said the last thing you need to make sure of is focus on showing up. Sure, one day maybe you'll have to go later in the day because of something, because of an emergency, and at least you'll have some time later. And if you do, just show up. Show up. If you focus on showing up for the like bare minimum, it helps you stay consistent. It will rewire your brain to say that, have I hit the gym today? Can I hit the gym today? When am I going to hit the gym today? What am I going to hit at the gym? It becomes a habit of yours. It becomes part of your mental. And once it becomes a habit, a consistent habit, it stops feeling like something you have to do. It feels more of like a privilege, and it becomes something you just do. It's almost like just going to school. You have to show up every day. The consistency, and it's just like going to school at that point. You don't. I guarantee you, there's a lot of you that there are a lot of days you don't want to go to school. You'd rather stay in bed, but yeah, you still wake up, you still get dressed, and you still go to school. And it's going to feel the exactly same way for the gym. You're gonna get up or go home, whatever it is, and it's just gonna be almost second nature to you. Just go to the gym. If you're trying to stay consistent in the gym while balancing everything, send this to someone who's struggling with the same thing. Make sure to follow my podcast. Next episode, we're going to be talking about money in college and how to manage it. I'll show you some of the ways that I've seen others. I'll show you the ways I've been able to manage my own money while I'm in college. And if you showed up today, even when you didn't feel like it, that's already progress. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.